Well, it's undeniable the role sports, more notably track and field, has played in the shaping of the Bahamian identity over the past 4 decades. Our Amajal Knowles spoke with a Bahamian sports historian who highlighted some of the top track stars in the country in the lead up to independence.
Well, as the country approaches 47 years of independence, sports has played a pivotal role as any in exemplifying Bahamian excellence. We recently spoke with a local sports historian who's made it his task to document some of the Bahamas' biggest sports moments via his book, From Vancouver to Athens. Alpheus Hawk Finlayson tells us more. The Bahamas, while being small in scope, has shown over a very short period of time that we boast some of the best athletes that the world has ever seen. We recently sat down with Alpheus Hawk Finlayson, who took us down a trip to memory lane and gave us a look at some of the country's top athletes in the lead up to independence.
Now, the competition in those days was one day, in track and field now, one day in the morning and the afternoon. And would you believe that stadium was full? Mike Sands was the man in those days, and he was able to win the 100, the 200, and the 400. And I'm talking about with world-class times. And some of his competitors, of course, were people like Rudy Lavarity, who actually was, years later, in '75, a member of the team that went to the Pan Am Games in 1975. Clive Sands, who went to St. Augustine's. Sam McKinney, who went to St. Augustine's also. Sam is a nephew of Tommy Robinson.
And the female athletes made their presence felt as well.
We go on to the women. You know, in those days, you didn't have many women participated in track and field and in sports in general. And then you talking about Chanel Ferguson and Linda Woodside. They traded one another in the long jump. Well, of course, Linda Woodside at Carifta in '76, we were calling her what's the name? We call her the Silver Lady.
1973, obviously a very important year for Bahamians because of independence, but in the sports world it's also significant because it's the first time the Bahamas competed in the Carifta Games.
Well, as it would happen, a young man called Peter Pratt, and he has a story in itself. He went to Carifta.
You was at the same one?
In 1973, yes. Okay. He was the first person to win a medal at the Carifta Games. And it made a difference.
For ZNS Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.